Good morning, students. Welcome to the biology class. We are dealing with chapter 2, that is biological classification. Hope all of you understood the first part of this chapter, that we are dealing with the kingdom Protista and the kingdom Monera, and now today we are going to deal with the kingdom Fungi. Okay, so kingdom Fungi and what are the different classes that is coming under the kingdom Fungi. Now let's recollect once again what we are doing here. We are doing the classification of the W.H. Whitaker. So W.H. Whitaker proposed a 5 kingdom classification. Out of that, we have finished with the kingdom Monera, then kingdom Protista, and today we are going to deal with the kingdom Fungi. Hope all of you are doing well. Let's deal with this chapter and take proper precautions and stay safe. Okay, so let's go to the next part. Kingdom Fungi, all are familiar with the word fungi. And now let's see what are the characters. Okay, what are the characters? There are general characters that involved in the fungi. So the first thing is that fungi are the echlorophyllous. What do you mean by the word echlorophyllous? They do not have the chlorophyll. So if they do not have the chlorophyll, they will not do the process of photosynthesis. So what is the name given to them? They are heterotrophs. Okay, in that heterotrophic, they can be either saprophytic fungi, or they can be the parasitic fungi, or they can be the symbiotic fungi. Okay, now what is their cell wall made up of? They don't have the cellulose, but they have a special chemical present in their cell wall that is called as the chitin. Okay, so their cell wall is made up of chitin and they are echlorophyllous. Then they are saprophyte, some of them are parasite, and some of them lives in symbiotic association. And in fungi, the normal fungi that we know is about the, which one? Can anyone say what is a common fungi that we, yes, the fungi that normally we used to eat? Mushroom. Okay, it is called as a mushroom. That the scientific name is agaricus. And any other fungi that we know? Yes, of course, our yeast that we used to put while making the bread. Okay, so whenever you use the word fungi, I think the first thing coming in your mind is about an yeast and the mushroom that normally we take. Okay, so here it's given where these fungi normally grow. They grow in the warm as well as the humid places. And what is the structure of the fungi? They are having a filamentous body, and this filamentous body is called as the mycelium. Okay, if this is a fungi, this is the filamentous body. Like filaments, they have been the, like this. These are the filaments. It's an entangled mass of the filaments are there, and this is called as the mycelium. And the individual unit, the single unit of the mycelium is called as the hyphae. I will show you in the next picture. Okay, so this is the condition. Better I will show the diagram, then it will be more clear what is the difference between a mycelium and a hyphae. I have given the picture here. So these all represent the mycelium. So this is the mycelium. Okay, and the individual unit of the mycelium is called as the hyphae. Can you see here? It is labeled here hyphae. So so this is the filamentous structure. So this is the filamentous structure, and in this filamentous structure you can see the single unit is called as the hyphae. In the totally we call it as mycelium, and the individual unit of the mycelium is called as the hyphae. I think it's clear now. Now, when we talk about this mycelium, there are two conditions for this mycelium. One is called as the septate hyphae and other one is called as the cenocytic hyphae. The diagram is very clear here. In septate hyphae, the word called the septa. Septa means the partition, the dividing wall. We can see here the septum. Can you see the septum here? Inside this, you can see the septum. So this is hyphae is septate hyphae. And when it is getting septate, you can see the nucleus, the single nucleus is present in each septum. Clear? So this condition you will call it as the septate hyphae. So in septate hyphae, we can see a single nucleus in each septum. Now just think about the opposite condition. Here you can see there is no septum. There is no septum, and what happened to the nucleus? You can see the condition of the nucleus is called a cenocytic condition. What do you mean by cenocytic condition? Can you see the nucleus here? There are lots of nucleus present here without any division. You can say like multinucleated condition. Okay, multinucleate because it is not having any septum. If the septum is there, then a single nucleus will present in each septum. But here there is no septum and the condition is called as a cenocytic hyphae. So this is a basic thing that you should know that of a fungi. Okay, so first one is mycelium, understood. Then the single part, yeah, individual part of the mycelium is called as the hyphae. And here how the hyphae has been made, either it can be a septate hyphae or it can be of a cenocytic hyphae. So septate hyphae, the septum are present here, and because of this septum, what's happening? The single nucleus is present inside the septum, uninucleate we can say. But here in the cenocytic hyphae, what we can see, there is no septum. So since there is no septum, it is a condition called the multinucleate. I think it's clear. Now, what are the common features of the fungi? These are all about general features. So already we discussed this fungi are heterotrophic organism because they are achlorophyllous. They lack the chlorophyll, so they can't do the photosynthesis. So they are heterotrophic. Now, another one, many of them are saprophytes. We know the meaning of saprophytes. What are saprophytes? They are the organisms that depend upon the other organism. Yeah, from the dead substrate, they absorb their nutrient material. Okay, and some of them are the parasite. What is a parasite? They depend upon other living organisms or the plants for getting their food. Okay, then another one is the word called the symbiont. Symbiont means it requires in association. We can say in association. That means two organisms has to be associated with each other, then only it can survive. So the best example is lichen, and the second example is mycorrhiza. Now, what is a lichen? Lichen is the symbiotic association between an algae and the fungi. Okay, so which are the different types of fungi? Some are heterotrophic, well, all of them are heterotrophic. Some of them are saprophytes, some of them are parasites, and some of them have the symbiotic association. Out of this, we can see what is a lichen and what is a mycorrhiza. Given the picture of a lichen here. So what is a lichen? This is a symbiotic association between algae and the fungi. Now, what is the use of these two partners? Algae. What the algae does? The algae prepares the food for the fungi. And what the fungi provide? They provide the shelter and they help to absorb the mineral nutrients. Clear? So, this algae cannot survive with fungi and this fungi cannot survive without the algae. So, that's why it is called as a symbiotic association. So, the best example for the symbiotic association I have shown here, it's a picture of the lichen where the algae and fungi remain together. And both of them are getting the benefits. If one of them are getting benefit and if other is not getting benefit, they cannot associate with each other. But both of them are getting benefit, so that is a kind of symbiotic association. Next symbiotic association is the mycorrhiza. So what's a mycorrhiza? It's a symbiotic association between fungi and the roots of higher plants. Can you see the picture here? Very clearly the picture has been given. So these are the roots of higher plants and you can see here the nodules are there and this nodules represent, you can see the nodules. So this nodules contains the fungi. And what's the use of this? Again the same thing, the symbiotic association. The fungi is helping in the absorption of the minerals from the soil and these roots, they are providing a shelter for the fungi. So I think it's clear for you what is a symbiotic association. So you have to learn what is a lichen and what is a mycorrhiza. How the reproduction taking place in the fungi? Almost all types of reproductions have been mentioned. First one, fragmentation, then it can undergo fission, it can undergo the budding. Now, what about the asexual reproduction? They reproduce by some kind of asexual spores. Now, let's concentrate on the sexual reproduction. The sexual reproduction takes place mainly in the three stages. The first stage is called as plasmogamy. What do you mean by the word plasmo? Gamy means the fusion. Okay, the plasmogamy you can split into two parts. One is plasma and other one is the gamy. So, plasma, yeah, you can say protoplasm. Yeah, what do you mean by gamy? It's a fusion. So, what's in the first phase? It is the fusion of the cytoplasm. Clear? Now, the second one is karyogamy. Karyo, the word karyo means nucleus and gamy again the same thing, fusion. So what is getting fused here? The nucleus. Clear? So first one, plasmogamy, the protoplasm gets fused, and the next one, karyogamy, the nucleus gets fused. And the third part, after the fusion, what product you will get here? You will get 2n. That is the zygote. 2n, that is diploid number, because n represent one hyphae and another n represent the another hyphae. So n plus 1, that is equal to 2n. So it is a diploid condition. So what kind of cell division takes place in this diploid condition? That is the meiosis. So in this diploid cell, meiosis takes place and reducing this 2n back into n. That is condition is called as the haploid. Clear? So first n, then plus n, n plus n, that is a haploid. Two haploid mycelium get fused together and you are getting 2n. And this condition is a diploid. And what will happen in this 2n? The meiosis will take place. What is meiosis? It's a cell division in which the number of the chromosome get reduced into half. So 2n का आधा क्या है? What is a half of 2n? Again n. I think it's clear, everyone. So meiosis takes place in this diploid cell. Diploid means 2n, double set of chromosome, that is diploid. And when meiosis takes place in the diploid cell, it will reduce to the half the number, that is n. Now what is this n? That is a haploid cell. Okay. Now in some of the classes like Ascomycetes that you will see now, Ascomycetes and in the Basidiomycetes, a intermediate stage, that what you have written here, n plus n. How many nucleus are there? 2. And this condition is called as a dikaryotic stage. So the stage in which they remain in n plus 1, that is called as dikaryotic stage, or you can call it as a dikaryon. Yeah, dikaryophase. Okay, so what are the different stages? Yeah, steps in the sexual reproduction. First one is plasmogamy, second one is karyogamy, and the third one is meiosis. And after the meiosis, we will get the haploid spores, and this haploid spores will germinate to form the haploid mycelium. Again, the cycle will keep on going. And in some of the classes like Ascomycetes and Basidiomycetes, they remain in this stage, n plus n stage. That stage is called as dikaryotic stage for some time. And after that, these nucleus will fuse and form the 2n. Then meiosis will take place, converting them into haploid spores. So these are the stages in the sexual reproduction or sexual stages of a fungi. Clear, everyone? Video given here, let's see. So before starting the video, I'll just tell you. So this is the mycelium that is getting started with n, haploid. And first one, plasmogamy is taking place. That means the fusion of the protoplasm. Okay, the fusion of protoplasm will take place. Then comes the heterokaryotic stage, that is dikaryotic stage, n plus 1. Then what is the second stage? That is a karyogamy, and after the karyogamy you are getting a zygote. And in that zygote, the third stage, that is the meiosis stage, it will undergo the meiosis and you will get the haploid spores, n. And this spores will germinate and it will develop into a mycelium, that is haploid. Again it will repeat. The mycelium, they undergo plasmogamy, then the two nucleus will remain in each other for some time, that is called as a dikaryotic stage, and it will undergo karyogamy, developing into 2n, that is the zygote, and this 2n will undergo meiosis and converting them into haploid spores. That means 2n is being reduced to n, that is called as reduction division, and it will germinate and the cycle will continue.
Fungus life cycle is pretty interesting, and it's different from all the other life cycles we've seen so far. And the main difference here is this plasmogamy, this heterokaryotic stage, and this karyotic. What is this? What is this? Now, in plasmogamy, it's interesting because the actual cytoplasm of the fungal cells will not, but the nuclei. Therefore, they're into a heterokaryotic state. So let's say we
Okay, here there are two cells. So mycelium of the two cell, and the two cells they are
Undergoing
having the nuclei,
plasmogamy,
and they
it's
undergo the
returning the
plasmogamy.
cells.
Okay, that is the fusion of the nucleus. Now you can see here the nucleus got fused. So that cell wall
Into
that is seen in between, they are getting dissolved,
one
and
cell
both the nucleus have been coming in one cell.
with two
Okay, that is
nuclei,
called as N
with
plus
the
N
cytoplasmic
condition.
phase essentially. And in karyogamy, what happens is that these nuclei will
Now
then
the next one
fuse
is
and also
karyogamy.
the zygote.
So the
Now,
fusion of the
this is sexual
nucleus.
reproduction
Okay,
in
fusion
fungi
of the
and also in
nucleus, and they
organisms,
develop the structure
which
called the
is swimming
zygote.
mitosis.
I think it's clear for you what is the sexual cycle of the fungi. Okay, now let's go to the different classes of the fungi. So the fungi has been divided into different classes. The first one is the Phycomycetes, second one Ascomycetes, third one Basidiomycetes, and the fourth one is the Deuteromycetes. Okay, and I've written here what are the general characteristics of Phycomycetes. You have to do one thing. First of all, you have to write this one in your copy, so it will be easy for you to understand each and every classes. Okay, so the Phycomycetes, the first one is mode of nutrition. These are obligate parasite on the plants. Ascomycetes, they are saprophytic, parasitic, or coprophilous. The word meaning of coprophilous, I think it's something new for you. The fungi that grows in cow dung. Clear? The fungi that grows in, don't get surprised, because many fungi are there that can grow in the cow dung also. So the fungi that grows in the cow dung, that you will call it as coprophilous. And in Basidiomyces, they are parasites. Deuteromyces, they are either saprophytes or the parasites. Then the mode of reproduction, you can read each and every one, because we have to go to the next classes also. So mode of reproduction, here it is produced in sporangia, here it is produced in ascospores, here basidiocarps, and here it is conidia. Now sexual spores are, they are called as the oospores or the zygospores. Here it is called as asci or the ascospores. Here it is called as basidiospores, and sexual reproduction is unknown to them. Okay, so let's go to the different classes one by one. So first one, Phycomycetes. You can see the picture of Phycomycete here. This is the mucor fungus. The fungus name is mucor, and you can see the structure. This is the mycelium, and the single structure is called as the hyphae. And one of the hyphae is growing up, and they form a fruiting body that is called as the sporangium. Now inside the sporangium we can see the round structures that is called as the sporangiospores. Okay, now this sporangium will break open, and the sporangiospores will be liberated down. It will fall down, and another sporangium will come up. Okay, so this is how they reproduce. Yeah, this is how they propagate. So what are the different characteristics of the Phycomycetes? They are the aquatic habitats. They are found in the moist and damp places, and the mycelium is aseptate. Now no need to say the word again. So there is no septum. Okay, this is the hyphae. So there is no septum here. The nucleus have been arranged without any septum. So this condition is called as the cenocytic. So this is called as a cenocytic condition. You can see in the picture also, there are no septum. So this condition is aseptate. And asexual reproduction takes place by zoospores. And these zoospores are motile. What do you mean by the word motile? That is moving. And aplanospores, these are the names of the spores. You have to learn that. So the zoospores are the motile spores, and the aplanospores, they are the non-motile spores. Some of the examples are the mucor. And another example is normally that we can see at home also. If you are keeping a bread, and if you are leaving the bread for more than 1 week, what can happen? The some kind of coloring you can see about the fungi. These are all the fungi. And which fungi? Normally we call it as a bread fungi, Rhizopus. I given the picture of a bread mold here, and what is the name of the bread mold? This is the Rhizopus. So you can see the decoloration here. The white color has turned into a ash color, yeah, pale colors, and this represents the Rhizopus. Now the next group is, the next class is known as Ascomycetes, and the other name of Ascomycetes is called as the sac fungi. And what are the other characteristics? They are multicellular. And the most common one is the penicillium. Okay, and even yeast is also here, and the picture I have given here is that of the aspergillus. And here we can say this group is coming under saprophytes, some are decomposers, some are parasites, and some are coprophilous. Okay, so what is a coprophilous fungi? The fungi that grows on the cow dung. Okay, the fungi that goes on the dung, that is called as the coprophilous. And this is opposite to that of Phycomycetes. The mycelium is septate. So this is the mycelium. So this is the mycelium, and you have to draw the septum here. Chambers. Okay, and in each chamber there is a single nucleus. So this is a uninucleate condition. Can you identify the difference? So here the mycelium is branched and it is septate. Can you see the beautiful picture of aspergillus here? And these are the spores that we are discussing about the spores. These are the spores. You can see here these are the spores, and these spores have been produced to the outer side. And the word you use it for that, endogenous. Endo means outer, and opposite of endo is exo, to the inner side. Endo means inner, and exo means outer. So this is exo, outer side. So the spores have been produced to the outer side. Now this is the sexual reproductive structure, we can say. So their fruiting bodies are called the ascus. So this is the fruiting body. It appears like a fruit, and this is like a sac. You can normally call it as a sac. And can you see here? The ascospores are produced inside this, and the hyphae has been covering this one. And this is the ascus. Inside the ascus, the ascospores have been produced. Now, what will happen? This ascus, when it gets matured, it will break up here. Okay, and it will break here, and through this ascus, the ascospores will come out. And the opening of this ascus is called as the ostiole. Okay, so this is the structure of the ascus through which the ascospores have been liberated and a new mycelium has been produced here. Okay, and this is the asexual reproduction method. So this is the hyphae. You can see a hyphae. Some of the hyphae grow up vertically up and they form the conidiophores. And in this conidiophores, the conidia or the spores have been produced to the outer side. Can you see here? This conidia have been produced towards the outer side. And this is called as a conidiospore. So three terms you have to remember: conidiophore, then the conidia, and the conidiospores. Okay, so this is the asexual reproductive method. Now the next class, that is the Basidiomycetes. You can see the beautiful picture of a Basidiomycetes. It's looking like a puffball. It is also called the puffballs. What are the general characteristics? This is the one in which normally we call it as the mushroom, bracket fungi, or the puffballs. And they are growing in the soil. We know the mushrooms, soil, on logs, and even in the tree stumps. And the important examples are rust and the smuts. And this mycelium, again, it is branched. Okay, it is branched, branches are there, and it is septate. So you have to draw here septum. And in each septum, inside each septum, you can see a single nucleus. The most common example is agaricus, that is the mushroom, then the smut, and the puccinium. So this is a common one, that is the agaricus, and this is the smut. This is the one that is causing the disease. There is disease called as the rust disease in the plants. Okay, so you can see here the decoloration has taken like burnt like appearance, you can see here, and this is caused by the puccinium. Now this is a structure of basidium. Okay, Basidiomycetes. So they produce a structure called the basidium. You can see here, this is a basidium, and this basidium produces the basidiospores towards the outer side. Now this basidiospores will fall down and a new hyphae will be produced. Okay, so Basidiomycetes, the terms are related with each other. The Basidiomycetes, then Basidium. Ascomycetes, the asci. Clear? The last group, yeah, the last class of this one is the Deuteromycetes. You can see the picture of a Deuteromyces. And the other name of the Deuteromyces is called as the imperfect fungi. Why it is called as imperfect fungi? You have the answer. Whitaker has the answer to that, because when he classified these fungi, this some group of the fungi, he was not able to identify the sexual phase. So the fungi in which the sexual reproduction are not clear, and only the asexual reproduction and the vegetative propagation has been known, he put them into a separate class that is called as a Deuteromycetes. Understand? So why it is called as a Deuteromyces? Yeah, why it is called as an imperfect fungi? But according to him, that time when he made the classification, that time he was unable to identify the sexual reproductive phase. So he grouped them, the fungi, those whose sexual cycles are not, he grouped them into a single class, and he kept a name as the imperfect fungi. But later on, after identifying their sexual phases, he transferred these fungi into the another group like Ascomycetes and the Basidiomycetes. So up to the time he didn't identify their sexual phase, he classified into the Deuteromycetes, in which only the asexual cycles have been known. But after identifying their sexual cycle, he transferred them into the other groups, yeah, other classes like Basidiomycetes as well as the Ascomycetes. Okay, it's given here. It is called as the imperfect fungi because only the asexual or the vegetative phases have been known. The sexual phases are not discovered at that time, and when he discovered the sexual phases, they classified them into the Ascomycetes as well as the Basidiomycetes. Okay, and these are the members are saprophytes, some of them are parasites, some of them are the decomposers, and they are main part is they are helping in the process of mineral cycling. And the most common examples of this Deuteromyces is Alternaria, Colitotrichum, and the Trichoderma. I think it's clear for you, all the classes. So we have seen what are the general characteristics of fungi, how the sexual reproduction takes place in fungi, then the four classes of the fungi. What is the first one? Phycomycetes. Second one, Ascomycetes. Then the third one, Basidiomycetes, and the fourth one, Deuteromycetes. I think all of it is clear for you. You have to study the identifying characters of each of the classes along with the example, and the diagrams that are shown here might be it's not in your NCERT book. I have shown the diagram so that it will be easy for you to recognize and recollect the characteristics of each and every fungi. So please go through the topics with your NCERT book. Please study well, and if any doubts you can ask me later. Okay, thank you everyone, and study well.